this woman's mind was phenomenal. And so David says, I've written a poem for you. And so she said, tell her what she said.
No, that's not how it happened. I told Mr. Brown I wrote a poem.
Yeah, you told me you wrote a poem.
It's all right, yeah, you wrote a poem. Okay, come on. Okay, you're ready.
Tell her what she said, though.
Mr. Brown said, David, it's time for your poem. Now, I wasn't planning to read the poem. I looked at him, and my Angelou stood up in her seat, 81 years old, and she said,
the best poems take a lot of time to write.
And she said, poetry? You wrote a poem? I said, yes. She said, everybody says they're a poet, but there are few poets on the earth.
And my poems take time.
She says, no, I have to tell. I'll never say
These are details. Go ahead.
Okay. She said, it takes me weeks, months, years to write a poem, and you wrote one on a plane in a day? She says, perhaps you want to take it home and work on it for a few days. Send it to Mrs. Chris, and I'll read it then. But the choice is yours. The poem belongs to you. I got quiet. Remember I said that voice that you hear that's inside of you, that small voice? I got quiet. Les Brown looked at me like, boy, you read that poem? I looked at him like, you are not a poet. And I got quiet.
He got quiet. I'm looking at him like, don't read this poem. This lady's already told you how long it takes to write a poem. And you can send it back to him, and I'm looking at him, this boy is intelligently ignorant. He's not picking up my body signals, my radar, nothing.
I was listening to the voice.
He listened to the voice, and so he said he was going to read the poem. He said, I'm going to read the poem now.
And she said, very well. Proceed.
No, she did not. And here's what she did. No, she said, just a moment. Proceed. And
I read the poem. And I'm not going to read it. There's some CD out there, but yeah, I read the poem.
He read the poem.
And right as I finished, well, actually, in the middle of the poem, Mr. Brown began to weep.
It was so beautiful. I began to cry.
And as
she was moved too.
No, yeah. As I finished, Mr. Brown said, Jesus, that poem was. And before he could finish, my Angelou said, Mr. Brown, be silent.
Mr. Brown, be silent.
I need to take this in. I need to experience this. And when I say got silent, I mean the air conditioner turned off. Trees. Mrs. Chris, the housekeeper, was chopping onions behind us in the kitchen. She sees.
She sat for a moment like this. Then she looked at me and she said, you are the woman.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you why I'm telling you this story. Here is a poet laureate said, this young man was a poet. Now tell them what your teacher told you.
When I was a mobile writer.
2 weeks before that. Told him he was a horrible writer. 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later, a poet laureate who read a poem at the White House, one of the greatest poets of our time, told this young man, you are a poet. I mean, everybody said something about you that really was nice. Raise your hands, please. You see the value of this? Let's give David a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Come on, you can do better than this with this young man who's going to win.